What's up, math fans? I know you saw my video on completing the square, and I know you saw my video on putting a quadratic into vertex form. This is vertex form. A times x minus h squared plus k, and I'll say y equals. So you've already seen that, you know what that means. It means you're looking at a parabola where the vertex is h comma k, right? And the a, sorry, that's an h, and the a is determines how wide or narrow the parabola opens up. So vertex form is helpful. In fact, if you saw my video on circles, it's very, very similar to vertex form. So you want to be able to do completing the square in order to put something in vertex form, both for parabolas and also for circles. So here's just a warm-up. If I was going to complete the square, then I need to figure out a number that I add. And of course, whatever you do to the left side of an equation, you have to also add it to the right side of the equation to keep the equation balanced. So you're allowed to do whatever you want as long as you do it to both sides. So if you remember, there's a formula for completing the square. You're looking for you're looking for b divided by 2. See, I also get confused with a formula that looks similar, but it's not. That's a formula for finding a vertex. So I'm looking for b over 2, and then I'm squaring it. So what's my b? Here my a is the leading coefficient. For some reason people say, they do this, they go, oh, I know, it's ABC, right? But what's interesting is you don't realize that the a is the coefficient of x. It's not x itself. So there's a 1 there. All right, that's just a reminder because I'm seeing a lot of people still thinking that it's x. It's not, it's 1. But for this, I'm not concerned with a, I'm concerned with b. b is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then 4 squared is 16. So 16 goes here. And to keep the balance, 16 goes here. And the reason I did that is because this is what's called a perfect square trinomial, and it's easily factored as x plus 4 times another x plus 4. So we write it as x plus 4 squared equals 9 plus 16 is 25. Now, this is not this. The only reason is because I didn't put a y there. So this actually is just an equation, and if you wanted to solve that equation, we would, after we completed the square, there's another video that I made called solving using the square root, all right? So once I complete the square, solving using completing the square, once I complete the square, I then factor it as a perfect square trinomial. Means I'm going to find something squared, and then I take the square root because that's the inverse. Take the square root on both sides, and if you remember, you're looking for 2 answers. So either x plus 4, see, this will cancel with that, those are inverses, and the square root of 25 is 5, so x plus 4 equals 5. But don't forget, x plus 4 could also equal negative 5. And then it's a one-step equation, you get 2 different answers. I won't go all the way, I just wanted to remind you how to complete the square. So let's do it again here. But wait, there's a 4 there, and that 4 kind of throws me off. I don't like the 4, it doesn't work for me. Completing the square works for me when I have a perfect square trinomial when the leading coefficient is 1. What happens when the leading coefficient is not 1? It's just an extra step. I'm going to make it 1. So 99% of the time, this is factorable. All right? And this video is, of course, addressing the times that it's factorable. So let's see. 4 comes outside, and x squared minus, now if I factored out the 4, I have to factor out the 4 from 24, which leaves me with 6x. And I'm good. And I'm going to just slide over the y minus 30. I need space. Do you know why I need space? Because I'm going to complete the square. I'm going to add something to both sides. All right? I'll close the parentheses here. So all I did was I factored out the 4. Okay? Now I've created, what I'm about to create is a perfect square trinomial. So it's easier now because I got my 1 here, so I can use this formula. This formula applies only when a is 1. So what's b divided by 2? Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. So I add 9 here. And of course, whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I'm going to add 9 here, right? Ho, ho, ho. No. Here's why. You didn't really actually add 9. You see, if you multiply back that 4, you distribute the 4, you really have 4x squared plus 24x plus 36. So this is really a 9 in disguise. It's actually a 36. So if I added 36 here, I have to add 36 here. All right, so just don't forget, this is in disguise. It's a 9 in there, but in actuality, it's a 4 times 9. It's a 36. The only reason I didn't distribute the 4 back, I think that's silly, because I want this perfect square trinomial to be factored as x minus 3 squared equals, what is this, y. Now I can combine like terms, and this is going to be plus 6. Then I can subtract 6 from both sides, giving me 4x minus 3 squared minus 6 equals y, and that's your vertex form, where the vertex is positive 3, negative 6. All right? So completing the square means dividing by 2 and squaring it to create a perfect square trinomial so that I can square both sides if I'm solving. Here I don't need to square both sides, I just wanted to rewrite it to put it in vertex form. And that, but the extra step here is first factoring out the leading coefficient to get rid of this 4 so that my leading coefficient can become a 1 so that I can use all the same steps. Now it gets super tricky, but still the same steps. So let me get rid of this, I need a space. Okay, so I got this huge mess, but I see x's and I see y's. There should be a y here. I'm very sorry, there's a y here. Okay, I see x's and I see y's and I see a number. I am so confused, but let me kind of group it, if you remember factoring by grouping. So there's like 4 videos that lead to this. So I'm going to just look at the 4x squared minus 24x separately, and then I'm going to look at the 4y squared plus 72y separately, and then later on I'll drop down the 76. All right, so here I got a 4 coming out, and an x squared minus 6x stays inside plus something, right? Let me close the parentheses. I'm going to bring down, here's also a 4, and inside would be y squared plus, 72 divided by 4. What is that? 18y. And of course I'm going to want to complete the square here, plus blank, close the parentheses, and that equals 76. All right, plus something, that something's going to go here, and this something will go here, okay? To keep the balance, of course, so don't get confused, that's old stuff. So let's see what happens here. What number goes in here? Negative 6 divided by 2 is 3, negative 3 squared is 9 goes here. What is this? 18 divided by 2 is 9, 9 squared is 81 goes here. So I will add 9 here, means I add 9 here, right? Whoa, wait a second. I didn't add 9 here. I added 4 times 9. What's that? 36? Okay. And then I add 81 here, so I add 81 here, right? Whoa. I added 4 times 81, which I don't know. I believe it's 324. Please check my math, okay? So we're going to add that together, and I'm going to factor this perfect square trinomial, and I'm going to factor this perfect square trinomial. So 4 drops down, and this becomes x minus 3 squared, just like it did in the last one. 4 drops down here, and this becomes y plus 9 squared, and it equals whatever that adds up to. Let's see what it adds up to. 16, 10, 11, 13, right? Looks like 13, and this 3 drops down here. So here I have what? This time it's not a parabola, this time it's a center of a circle where my center is 3 comma negative 9. I switch the signs here, and my radius is whatever the square root of that is, which I don't know. All right? So thanks for watching. See ya. Just before I turn it off, I'm going to double check my math here. I hope you did the same. So let's see. 81 times 4. This is 32. So yeah, that's 324 there. That's 36. And 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 4 is 16. 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. 12, 13. Good. And 3 plus 1 is 4. So I did make a mistake. Ha! So that should be 436, okay? It came from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So that's another one that I had to carry, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So what does that say? The center is 3, -9, and my radius is whatever the square root of 436 is. That's not too important. My goal was to show you what to do with the leading coefficient. All right, so for real this time, thanks for watching. See ya.